Sunshine. Here I am at my favorite little spot. Look at that moon. That's pretty awesome. And of course, I want to say hello to my girls. The sun's getting ready to go down. It's a little chilly in my favorite tree. So, a few things have been rattling around in my mind, and I kind of just wanted to talk about some of that, I guess. One of the things is that, and I hope the wind doesn't affect the situation here. Maybe I'll turn the camera that way. Anyway, so, I've been purging a lot of stuff and stuff that I maybe thought I'd let go of and maybe didn't let go of, maybe other things that I do need to let go of, and trying to figure out what, again, what is, well, let's put it this way, balance my mind and my heart. And things have been going really good, actually. I mean, the Redwoods was awesome. I got a lot of confirmation up there, which helped me tremendously to know what I know in my heart. And either way, even if I'm wrong, I don't give a shit. Because you know what? Life's a journey, and this is my journey, and no one's going to tell me how to do my journey. And I'm not really looking for approval from anybody else. I never have been looking for approval from anybody else, but I think I kind of slipped into that in a way. And I mean, I definitely got lost on my little journey here, and that's okay. I think we all get lost on our journey somewhere. I don't have all the answers. I'm not trying to have all the answers. I think that together we have all of the answers. But meanwhile, I'm just going to keep on doing me. And, I told you that I wanted to share this book with you guys. I'm getting a lot out of this book. And it may not be J.K. Rowling, but it sure has helped me understand a lot about a cycle that I've been stuck in for a long time. And I'm still not done reading the book. I'm a couple chapters ahead, but I'm sure that there's other people out there who might get something out of this too, Tantra, I don't know who originally wrote about Tantra, I don't know how long ago that was and who it was and how that all transpired or anything. I don't care. This is my journey, and this book is helping me better understand about desire anyway. And that's something that I really needed to learn more about. But at the same time, I wasn't wrong either. And that's what this book is helping me, I guess, confirm for me, is it helps me to understand me. And I don't know, it's just part of the journey, man. That's all I can say, is it's just part of the journey. So, let me go ahead and start sharing with you guys again. Like I told you, this is, Introduction, the Transformation of Desire to Tantra. So, get out of it what you will. I hope you do get something out of it. I'm gonna face the camera like that. Hopefully the microphone is blocked from the wind. Whatever. It's a pretty view. And hopefully you can hear me. So, this guy, I guess, who wrote this book, who, helped co-write it, the Lama Yeshe, he was born in 1935, and he did his thing. He traveled around all over the world doing his teaching, so I don't know. Like I said, there's things in here that I can totally understand and relate to, so I'm hoping that you guys too. Okay, chapter 1, Basic Purity. Shakyamuni, the founder of Buddhism. The teaching and practices known as Buddhist Tantra can be tracked back 2,500 years to the time of Shakyamuni Buddha. Well, see, I didn't know, and now I know, and I forgot just that quick. The historical Buddha, to differentiate Sakyamuni from the many other awakened beings who have come before and after him, was born the Indian prince Siddhartha in the 6th century BC, according to traditional sources. He spent the first 29 years of his life virtually imprisoned in the pleasure palaces built for him by his overprotective father, King Shuddhodana. Eventually, after becoming aware of the first time of sickness, old age, and death, he escaped from his father's realm and began his search for the way to end all suffering and dissatisfaction. For 6 years, he engaged in the strict asceticism of self-denial in any attempt to win control over his body and mind, only to discover that this extreme approach was as misguided as his previous life of sensual indulgence. Eventually, by following the middle path, which reminds me, okay, the last few videos that Lavette did were fantastic. She really makes a lot of things very clear there as well. You know, the whole meditation thing, the whole bringing together of men and women, or the male and female inside ourselves. I should just stop there and keep reading. Let's see. Eventually, after becoming aware of for the first time of sickness, okay. For 6 years, he engaged in we read that part. Eventually, by following the middle path between indulgence and denial, avoiding all other extremes as well, he was able to uproot even the subtlest causes of suffering and ignorance from his mind, and thereby become a fully enlightened, awakened one, a Buddha. For the remaining 45 years of his life, he taught this middle way approach to life and spiritual development in many different forms, each designed to suit the temperament and aptitude of a particular type of person. Buddha's teaching, known in Sanskrit as Dharma, that which holds us back from suffering and its causes, contains thousands of different methods of overcoming the mental and physical obstacles to our happiness and well-being, and all fit within the two categories of Sutra and Tantra. There are differences between these two so-called vehicles, jhana, but the foundation common to both Sutrayana and Tantrayana is the fundamental pure nature of the mind. Fundamental pure nature of the mind. According to the Buddhist teaching, no matter how confused or deluded we may be at the moment, the underlying and essential nature of our being is clear and pure. In the same way that clouds can temporarily obscure but cannot damage the light-giving power of the sun, so too the temporary afflictions of body and mind, our confusion, anxiety, and the suffering they cause, can temporarily obscure but cannot destroy or even touch the fundamentally clear nature of our consciousness. Dwelling deep within our heart and within the hearts of all beings without exception is an inexhaustible source of love and wisdom. And the ultimate purpose of all spiritual practices, whether they are called Buddhist or not, is to uncover and make contact with this essential pure nature. When we have developed our own inner purity, inner compassion, and inner love, we can then see the reflection of this purity and loving kindness in others. But if we have not contacted these qualities within ourselves, we will see everyone as ugly and limited. For whatever we see every day in our outer reality is actually nothing more than a projection of our own inner reality. The existence of this deep, essential, pure nature of mind is not a matter of belief or of blind acceptance of dogma. It is a matter of experience. Countless people throughout history have discovered this great treasure of peace, love, and wisdom within themselves, and countless great teachers and guides have skillfully shown others how they too can discover their own deepest nature and experience the unsurpassed happiness this discovery automatically brings. Among these exceptionally kind spiritual guides is Shakyamuni, Buddha, and the aim of all his many teachings and methods in this fulfillment of our highest human potential. According to Buddhist terminology, the ultimate goal of our individual human evolution is enlightenment or Buddhahood. This state, which can be achieved by everyone, is attained when all the delusions, greed, hatred, ignorance, and the like, presently obscuring our mind, have been completely removed, and when all our positive qualities have been fully developed. This state of complete fulfillment, of full awakening, is characterized by by unlimited wisdom, unlimited compassion, and unlimited skill or power. The Tantric approach. According to Sutrayana, the path to fulfillment is a gradual process of cleansing our mind of all its faults and limitations and developing in their place such beneficial qualities as love and wisdom. This path consists of creating specific causes, behaving ethically, developing our powers of concentration, training in meditative insight, and so forth, for the future attainment of full awakening. Because of this emphasis on creating causes for a future result, the gradual approach of Sutra is sometimes known as the causal vehicle to enlightenment. Compared to this gradual Sutra approach, Tantrayana is a far speedier path to enlightenment. Although Tantric practitioners do not neglect creating the same causes as the followers of Sutra, they take the future result of full spiritual evolution as the very starting point in their path. To put this in other words, the Tantric yogi or yogini, as these supremely skillful practitioners are called in Sanskrit, learns to think, speak, and act now as if he or she were already a fully enlightened Buddha. Because this powerful approach brings the future results of full awakening into the present moment of spiritual practice, Tantra is sometimes called the resultant vehicle to enlightenment. According to Tantra, perfection is not something that is waiting for us somewhere in the future. If I practice hard now, maybe I will become a perfect Buddha. Or if I believe well in this life and act like a religious person, maybe someday I will go to heaven. According to Tantra, heaven is now. We should be gods and goddesses right now. But as present, we are burdened with limited concepts. Men are like this, women are like this, I am a certain way, and there is nothing I can do about it, and so forth. This is why we have conflict within ourselves and with one another. All this conflict will dissolve as we train in the tantric point of view and recognize that each man is a complete man and each woman a complete woman. Furthermore, every man and woman contains both male and female energy. In fact, each one of us is a union of all universal energy. Everything that we need. Thank you so much to the airplane. Everything that we need in order to be complete is within us right at this very moment. It is simply a matter of being able to recognize it. This is the Tantric approach. The principle of transformation. Speaking generally, we can say that all the many practices of Tantra involve the principle of transformation. As modern science has demonstrated, the physical universe, with its infinite variety of phenomena, from the smallest subatomic particle to the largest galaxy, is in an unceasing state of transformation and evolution from one form of energy to another. Our own body and mind are also energy, and whether we are healthy or ill, mentally balanced or berserk, depends on whether our mental and physical energies are harmonious or not. Through the proper practice of Tantra, all our energies, including the subtle yet very powerful energies we are not ordinarily aware of, are harnessed to accomplish the greatest of all transformations. This is our evolution from an ordinary, limited, and deluded person trapped within the shell of a petty ego into a fully evolved, totally conscious being of unlimited compassion and insight. How can we achieve such an extraordinary transformation? Where will we find the necessary resources to bring about such a profound change? We do not have far to look. We do not have to extract this force from the nucleus of an atom, nor do we have to take a rocket ship into outer space and find it in some distant star. Instead, the basic energy involved in this profound process of tantric transformation is the energy of our own desires. It gets good, guys. Desire and happiness. Desire, frustration, and self-control. We are living in a realm of desire. From the moment we wake up until the moment we fall asleep at night, and even throughout our dreams, we are driven by desire. Each of our senses is hungry for its own particular food. Our eyes crave and see interesting shapes and colors. Our ear wants to hear pleasing sounds. Our nose actively sniffs out agreeable odors and turns away in disgust from smells that offend it. Our tongues seek exciting new tastes, and our sense of touch is forever craving contact of one kind or another. This desire for sensory stimulation is so deeply ingrained that if we are isolated from sights, sounds, smells, and so forth for long enough, we begin to hallucinate them. Our desires are not limited to the things we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Our mind itself runs after ideas as greedily as our tongue hungers for tastes. Abstractions such as knowledge, reputation, security, and contentment are pursued with as much vigor as if they were things that could be held in the hand or seen by the eye. Desire is so pervasive, in fact, that it is doubtful whether there is anything that we do that is not motivated by it. No matter what field we may be involved in, whether it be business, sport, or even spiritual pursuits, it is desire of one form or another that drives us to achieve success in it. Desires are such an integral part of our life that most people would consider life without them to be a living death. Behind all of our desires is the wish to be happy. In this respect, everyone is exactly equal, for we all want happiness, even though we may define it differently, and none of us wishes even the slightest suffering or disappointment. If we check up carefully, we can see that all our actions are motivated by either the desire to experience what is pleasurable or the desire to avoid experiencing the unpleasant. Yet, in spite of all of our wishes to have nothing but happiness, our life is full of pain and dissatisfaction. Our prized possession that we worked so hard for either breaks, is lost or stolen, or simply ceases to give us pleasure. Our loving husband or wife soon becomes our worst enemy or dies and leaves us forlorn. The job we coveted turns into a heavy burden that consumes all our time and energy. Our reputation is smeared, our smooth skin becomes wrinkled, our intelligence starts to fade. In all these ways, then, desired happiness eludes our grasp. Sometimes it seems that the more we try to be happy, the more miserable we become. From this point of view, life seems to be a meaningless rat race. Our efforts to find happiness lead us around in circles until we end up frustrated and exhausted. Many different philosophers and spiritual teachers have described this circle of perpetual frustration and have offered advice on how to break free from it, or at least how to put up with it. Shakyamuni Buddha referred to this condition of repeated dissatisfaction as samsara, a Sanskrit term meaning to circle, and prescribed many different methods for liberating ourselves from it. In the most well-known of his teachings, the source of all our problems and disappointments is said to be ignorantly produced desire itself. Liberation or nirvana is achieved by completely uprooting all such craving desire from our heart. Because our eyes, ears, nose, and so forth are the very gateways of desire, those wishing to break free and achieve liberation from this circle of suffering are encouraged to become especially distrustful of the five physical senses. These are to be recognized as exerting an unhealthy control over the mind and must be treated with the utmost caution. The behavior of someone following this path to individual liberation is therefore characterized by extreme self-control. The practitioner posts a strict guard at the door of the senses and is extremely suspicious of whatever wants to enter. If, for example, a desirable sight should appear, such as an attractive man or woman, the practitioner is advised to be alert to the possible danger of falling under its spell. Then, following this type of training, we combat the tendency of running blindly after objects of attraction, and thereby falling victim to pain and disappointment. By teaching ourselves to focus on those aspects of the object that will reduce our desire for it. For instance, we can neutralize our longing for a beautiful person by concentrating on the unclean parts of his or her body. The aim of this type of practice is to keep desire from upsetting our minds, and the intended result is to attain a peacefulness and tranquility that cannot be disturbed by the changing fortunes of our life. Compared to a system like Tantra, which actually uses the energy of desire, this cautious approach to the spiritual path is considered inferior. But this is not to say that such an approach has no value. On the contrary, it is crucial to know when it is appropriate to withdraw our attention from things that disturb our mind. However, if the only way we know how to deal with desirable objects is to avoid them, there will be a severe limit as to how far our spiritual practice can take us. Tantra's approach is very different. Instead of viewing pleasure and desire as something to be avoided at all costs, Tantra recognizes the powerful energy aroused by our desires to be an indispensable resource for the spiritual path. Because the goal is nothing less than the realization of our highest human potential, Tantra seeks to transform every experience, no matter how unreligious it may appear, into the path of fulfillment. It is precisely because our present life is so inseparably linked with desire that we must make use of desire's tremendous energy if we wish to transform our life into something transcendental. Thus, the logic of Tantra is really very simple. Our experience of ordinary pleasure can be used as the resource for attaining the supremely pleasurable experience of totality or enlightenment. It is natural that qualities of the mind, while cultivated, produce something similar, not opposite, to themselves. This is true for both positive and negative states of mind. In the same way that dissatisfaction itself can never become satisfaction, misery does not naturally evolve into happiness. According to Tantra, we cannot hope to attain our goal of universal and complete happiness by systematically making ourselves more and more miserable. This is contrary to the way things actually work. It is only by cultivating small experiences of calm and satisfaction now that we will be able to achieve our ultimate goal of peace and tranquility in the future. And similarly, it is only through the skillful use of desirous energy and by building up the habit of experiencing what we might call true pleasure that we can hope to achieve the everlasting bliss and joy of full illumination. I'm going to go ahead and stop it there because it's getting cold. My fingers are freezing, and I will pick that up. I'm finding this very interesting. I hope you all are too. Much love to everyone.